Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adiba Nadia binti Zulkifli. Matrix number 267750. Today I want to present about the case 3, which is the smell, taste and touch of money and accounting policy. First, for the executive summary, this case discussed that about an accounting policy decision that involving two company, which is UPC Berhad and MIM Holdings. UPC Berhad is own 100% of the company and also a private Malaysian institution that was established in 1994. Meanwhile, MIM Holdings was a private limited company and originally under the name of MIM Berhad. Okay, Aina is the accountant for the MIM Holdings, and it also revealed that the major problem began in 2018 when they meet the accountants for UPC consolidated financial statement and the fund initial recognition resurfaced. GA and Associate serve as UPC external auditor for its financial statement. Several issues faced by Aina in which some items that she recognized in the financial statement was seen differently by the external auditor of the measure of problem in this is it has three issues, which is issue 1, the control power of UPC Berhad to MIM Holdings. Issue 2, the recognition of the fund. Issue 3, solvency of MIM Holdings. Next, for the plan of action. In issue 1, the company should have follow MFRS 10 consolidated financial statement. In issue 2, the company should be recognized as a liability. The fund should be recognized as a liability. In issue 3, the company should implement analysis financial ratio to measure their company growth. Next, the problem of statement. Issue 1, it has been stated whether it is appropriate for UPC Berhad to exercise its power to their subsidiary. It has been known that MIM is a special purpose entity that set up in 2019 to generate more income for UPC. The problem has started in 2017, which is a new investment opportunity outside the Klang Valley have appeared. This opportunity might be help MIM to achieve their objective, which is generate more income for UPC. The UPC have aggressively pushed MIM to take this investment. They also exercise control over MIM in acquiring this investment. It also appeared to be a golden ticket, which is given that selling price was attractive and below its fair value. The problem also arose when the UPC was using its control over MIM and being questioned whether it is appropriate for UPC to exercise the power to their subsidiary is MIM. Meanwhile, for the issue 2, it has been stated that whether the injected funds needs to be recognized as equity or liability. Okay, the issue has been started. This problem has been started in 2017 when the fund have flowed in MIM Berhad to the amount 18 million and had been utilized for the investment. When the cash flow, the company relieved that investment could be proceed. To MIM, it was cash pumped by the UPC to support their subsidiary performance to support their company performance and generate future income for the UPC. The external auditor for MIM, MJ and Associate had advised that had advised the accountant for the MIM that the fund should be recognized as equity since the UPC is a parent of the MIM. However, in 2018, they started to convene with accountants for UPC for their consolidated financial statement, and the initial recognition has arisen. UPC used a different external auditor for their financial statement, which is GA and Associates. And from the UPC external auditor, they saw the fund have been treated differently. The external auditor smelled that feel the fund was like debt, not an equity, and MIM Berhad should pay the obligation. The injection fund of 18 million was recognized as a debt. Therefore, there have been obligation for the MIM to repay the amount that they have been owed. The fund was given by UPC Berhad for MIM and has been utilized for the investment. For the issue 3, it has been stated whether the company issues the RCPs is solvent. The injection of funds was recorded as a current liability in 2017 and it was termed a redeemable convertible cumulative preference share, which is RCCP, preference shares that provide for mandatory redemption for issuer that fixed and determinable amount at a fixed and determinable future date or give the holders the right to require the issuer to redeem the instrument at or after a particular date for a fixed and determinable amount. It should have been classified as a financial liability because where any such shares is redeemed otherwise than out of the proceed of a fresh issue, the sum equal to the amount of the share redeemed shall be transferred to the share capital amounts of the company out of the profits which will otherwise have been available for dividend. However, for a redemption of preference shares to occur, and the company will have to prove its solvency under the Company Act 2016. Causes of problem in these three issues in this case is issue 1, the control power of UPC Berhad to MIM Holdings. The causes of problem for these issues, the parent company own 100% of the subsidiary company. This problem is because UPC Berhad has exercised its power, its control over MIM into acquiring the investment. UPC Berhad is a parent company to MIM Berhad, which has a full control on MIM Berhad. It also was the company intention to further increase the UPC's income fund while offering services more effectively to the community inside and outside the UPC. Based on MFRS 10, UPC Berhad will have the power over the MIM, which UPC has the existing rights that give it the ability to direct the relevant activities. And also UPC also have the exposure or rights to the variable returns from its involvement with MIM Berhad. UPC Berhad has the ability to use its power over the MIM to affect the number of the UPC returns. In the issues 2, which is the recognition of the fund, And the problem in this and the causes of problem in these issues, which is the external auditor of UPC Berhad, saw the fund differently from what it has been recognized. The debate over the recognition of the injection of the funds began during the preparation of the 2017 accounts for MIM and the UPC. The UPC has been adamant about not recognizing the injection of the UPC is very firm about not recognizing the injection of funds as an additional capital contribution. It arises from the desire to reduce MIM financial reliance on the UPC. UPC boards of directors was only willing to offer MIM a short-term financing arrangement. The investment prospects were promising after all, and they believed that MIM will be able to pay back the fund injection from the investment return. The UPC's Berhad external auditor determined that this is not a capital contribution as well. MIM also was very devastated by the fact that it now had been recognized not only 14 million Islamic banking loan, but also an additional liability of 18 million. Its company leverage is now very weakened. The parent, the UPC, had lost its control over their company once more. And for the issue 3, which is solvency of MIM holdings, the causes of these issues, which is the issuance of redeemable convertible cumulative preference shares, which is RCCPs, by MIM Holdings. Preference shares can now be redeemed out of the capital of the company under Section 72 4 of the Company Act 2016. Preference shares can be redeemed out of profit or of fresh issues of shares. Redemption of preference shares also can only be done if the shares have been fully paid up. Shares are redeemed otherwise than out the proceeds of fresh issues. A sum equal to the amount of the share redeemed shall be transferred into the share capital's amount of the company of profits, which will have been available for dividend. However, for a redemption of preference shares to occur, a company will have proved its solvency under the Company Act 2016. Under the Section 112 2 of the Company Act 2016, a company shall be deemed to be solvent if it is able to continue to meet its debts, and when the debts become due without any substantial disposition of its asset outside the ordinary course of its business, restructuring its debts, externally forced revision of its operations, or other similar action, and the capital of a company shall be deemed to impair when the value of its net asset is less than the aggregate amount of all the shares of the company after the share buyback. For the decision criteria and alternative solutions, in the issues 1, which is the control power of UPC Berhad to MIM Holdings, we have one alternative, which is follow MFRS 10. According to MFRS 10, consolidated financial statements introduces a single control model to identify a parent-subsidiary relationship. The new control model is a qualitative model based on the 3 elements of power, returns, and the link between the power and returns. An investee may be identified as a subsidiary even if the investor holds little or no equity interest in the investee. Also, disposal or decrease in the stake that does not result in a loss of control can no longer be treated as a deemed disposal. Losses are attributed to the NCI, even the attribution result in a debit NCI in the statement of financial position. Next, the second issue, which is the recognition of the fund. We have two alternative, which is the fund. The alternative one, the fund should be recognized as based on the case. A financial instrument is an equity instrument only if the instrument includes no contractual obligation to deliver cash or another financial asset to another entity, and if the instrument will may be settled in the issuer on equity instrument. It is either a non-derivative that includes no contractual obligation for the issuer to deliver a variable number of its own equity instrument, a derivative that will be settled only by the issuer exchanging a fixed amount of cash or another financial asset for a fixed number of its own equity instrument. For the alternative two, the fund should be recognized as a liability. Based on IAS 32 financial instrument, presentation establishes principles for distinguishing financial liability from equity instrument. It applies to the classification of financial instrument as financial assets, financial liabilities, or equity instrument. Next, for the issue 3, solvency of MIM holdings, we have two alternatives. Is run a quick test for the ratio analysis of solvency, which also run financial analysis ratio of solvency. This ratio can be used to measure a company growth through its acquired assets over time. That to equity helps understand if the shareholder equity have the ability to cover all the debts in case business and return of equity, which is ROE, is considered a gauge of the corporation profitability and how efficient it is into generating profits. For the alternative two, which is refer to the characteristic of the solvent company in Companies Act 2016. According to Companies Act 2016, Section 1122 states that for the purpose of share buyback, companies satisfy the solvency test if the share buyback will not result in the company being insolvent and its capital being impaired at the date of the solvency statement, and the company will solvent after each buyback during the period of 6 months after the date of the decree. Next, for the recommendation, for the issue 1, it has been advised that the company should follow MFRS 9. UPC Berhad should follow MFRS 10 consolidated financial statement. This is because as the parent company, UPC will have the power over MIM. For example, UPC has the existing rights that give it the ability to direct the relevant activities which significantly affects the MIM returns. Next, UPC also has the exposure or rights to variable returns from its involvement with MIM and the ability to use its power over the MIM to affect the number of UPC returns. For the second issue, we have this alternative. The fund should be recognized as liability. Every fund is a self-balanced collection of end accounts. As a result, amount owed to or from other funds are typically the result of interfunds, loans, or interfund services used or provided between funds. For example, one fund may make a loan to another fund. One fund may provide services to another without receiving payment at the time that services are rendered. For the issue 3, we have choose to run a financial ratio analysis, which is run a quick test ratio. The audit committee of MIM Holdings should be aware of the company activities by implementing quick ratios to make sure that the company can stay still and stay solvent in the industry, because this ratio can be used to measure a company growth through its acquired asset over time. Based on the debt to asset ratio that we have calculated, it has been calculated that MIM Holdings have 0.802 for 2019 and 0.774 for 2018. And this has interpreted that the company does not have a good debt to asset ratio, and also it indicates the ratio of asset financed with the debt. The higher the leverage and the financial risk, the higher the ratio. So the MIM Holdings have the higher leverage and financial risk, and with the calculation, it can help MIM Holdings to have a clear picture of their company solvency. All from me. Thank you.